All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Wanted to jump on here. Bit of an eye-catching title, I'm sure. But I wanted to talk about it really quickly. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Hello, Blue 5. Okay. So interestingly enough, I had a dream last night, and you remember how, and I'm sharing this just for the purpose of I wanted to touch on a couple of different updates. What up, Jeff? So I wanted to touch on a couple of different updates, and I figured I'd go ahead and share my dream because I think it's really interesting. I had shared with you guys how, before the XRP dream specifically, or dreams, that I had been getting these other dreams concerning the market, and that was in the Forex market. And it would, I would see specific numbers on that. And, but other than that, I've never really dreamt about markets or anything of that nature. But to this day, these dreams have had a 100% accuracy, 100%. And with the exception of the XRP dreams, because it hasn't manifested yet. And that's why I'm excited to track this as we are journeying together. But last night, I had a dream that I was looking at, or that I looked at the chart for XRP, and then it was like tank, 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 and it had just tanked. And so I knew upon rising this morning that I was going to see a tanking. And I wanted to pull it up for you today to show you what happened here. Oh, that's why. There it is. Why is this not showing properly? It was earlier. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Now it is. Got it. So this is what we saw. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. So yeah, there we go. So as of 2 p.m. this afternoon, as you can see, it just went doo and dropped, right? Pretty significantly. And I did the math. And it shows a almost over a 7.5% drop. Over a 7.5% drop in, let me show you the timeline here. In 2 hours. 7.5% drop in 2 hours. So talk about a tank, man. That literally dropped significantly. And so, like I said, I dreamt about this last night, but I forgot to share with you probably the update. Watch this. So as you can see my screen, let me get rid of my doubly-do, but that's not the end of it. Because remember, that was 2 hours from 2 p.m. That would have been 4 p.m. It's 9 p.m. So now let me reveal to you what has happened since. And so now it's actually gone up quite a bit. Oh, actually, no, I didn't even measure all the way down here. Sorry. I didn't even give you the exact, the correct. Let me see what it actually was. 8, almost 9% in a matter of, right there's the candle. Yeah, it still says 2 hours. So almost 9%. That is significant, guys. Significant. However, I do want to make mention that since 4 p.m., right, it has risen right there, 6.28%. So it's recovered a good portion of that, guys, a very good portion of that, about 70% of that. So, but it's very interesting because I did want to point that out that, this is actually what I saw in my dream last night, a huge dropping in price today in my dream last night. And I told some people at our church today about it. Now, why am I saying this? Because I'm saying this, guys, because I'm just giving you guys the update as to, let's see. Yeah. So it actually reached almost 62 cents today. Almost 62 cents today. But this is part of the volatility, right? This is part of the volatility. Yeah. It's almost there anyway. Hang on. It broke through. Oh, I just got a notification that it hit the point of resistance. And it's actually hitting this point of resistance right now, which is actually 59.65 cents. 59. I had set this a while back. That's interesting. It's 941, which is pretty a good number for me. Okay, so it's hitting this resistance point. Let me actually see if I can pull that up. I better show you my screen so that you're not just staring at my forehead. Let me share this with you guys. By the way, this crypto trading portal is part of the program that I am a student of. They've got their own custom. The owner, guys, the owner of this trading program actually was one of many, many million people that was selected to help Coinbase develop their Coinbase Advanced, which is the trading platform for Coinbase. So what you could see here is when you try to pull up, actually, before I do that, let me drag this over. See, this is, you can see the price is 59.55. You see that number in the green, 59.55. So it's 59.55. So it's just under. And that threshold you can kind of gather by looking at where it's peaked a few times, and right about here, whoops, that is not the line that I'm wanting to draw. Right about here, you could see, let me open this up for you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about. You see all this where it peaks right here, and then here, and then here. There's this imaginary line. So then what we do, it's no longer imaginary because we put it there, right? And this becomes a resistance line, right? And so then you go back over here, and then you look as you zoom into the 5-minute chart, and you can begin to see the blue line is our resistance, and you can see, boom, look at how successful this resistance line was right here. None of this was visible on the hour chart that I just had it on, but you can see that same pattern that was over here. I don't know, let me see. No. Over, which way am I going? That was this way on the chart is also now manifesting. I'm trying to do this. Okay. I wish I had, but right here, you could see that it followed that same resistance. This is that level of resistance right here. So you could see, boom, it hit it and went back down. Boom, it broke through a little bit, but then went back down. Boom, it broke through a little bit and then went back down. And then boom, it broke through higher. But now as it's coming down, if it stays above it, right, just like it did over here, right here where it broke through. And that's the goal, guys. That's the goal. Remember, this was the big drop today. Okay. That's so anyhow, I kind of love this stuff, man. I just really enjoy tracking this. If it wouldn't actually be as exciting if we weren't actually tracking a prophetic word, to be honest with you. But one of the things that we're actually seeing right now, and this is what I want to talk about, and I mentioned this on a video that I did yesterday. I got into this, but I want to touch on it again because for people who don't understand, and this is why I think it's important. Let's say somebody watched my video, and maybe you're crazy enough to jump in. You're like, some dude had a dream, right? I'm going to throw in, some money into XRP, right? And so my point is let's say you are that guy, okay? And so hang on, I got a comment here and I want to share something real quick. So he says XRP is back to 60 cents, 60.1. You have to understand, guys, it's different on different exchanges. It's going to be close, but it's going to be different on different exchanges. For example, if I went over here and typed in XRP, USDT, I've got it on Binance US, I've got it on Coinbase, and I've got it on Binance. So I've got 3 different exchanges I could pull this up on, and it's going to be very close. However, the live price right now on Coinbase, which is what I have it on because that's really more us, we're US based, is, you can see 59.57. This is live action price. So keep that in mind. He says, I'm a Christian and I hope you're right about XRP. LOL. I own a lot. This could change my life. So I want to speak to Adam real quick because I like his comment. First of all, there's certain attributes that we can see within it. There's humility, because in the ministry, I talk about the definition of pride is, the way I describe it is the inability to consider something other than what you currently believe. what I think is one of the greatest attributes or characteristics of humility when a person is manifesting it is they'll be like, I consider. Because pride causes you to have an inability to consider. You're rigid, you're stuff, you're stubborn, you're hard. And humility will take you to that place where you're like, hey, I'm open to consider. And so I like Adam's comment because he's saying, I consider, your dream, right? Like there's a possibility. And if it is actually accurate, this could be potentially huge, right? Huge. He says, I'm the guy. Jaden says, I'm that guy. I'm that guy who threw money in because you had a dream. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, that's good. I can appreciate that, guys. You have to understand. Oh, Adam, hang on. I'm glad I saw this comment. So, in order to respond to Adam's comment, I do want to say, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. Okay. I am just a guy who is also a Christian, is also a minister, who had a dream, right? And many dreams, actually, but only a few about XRP. And it was so random. And it was so unrelated even to the markets that I was in at the time. Remember, I was doing Forex. And it was just so crazy. But we had been in prayer. We've also had many prophetic words, many. For those of you guys who are Christian and you understand, and even some Christians don't understand because Christianity is such a broad, or some people don't necessarily they don't go to churches that operate in the gifts of the Spirit. And so, some of the stuff can sound, concerning. And, I'm processing multiple things right now at the same time. So let me respond to Adam's question because he said, what's your price prediction? First of all, here's the thing, guys. Now I gotta go back to what I was saying because I think that's really important. Because a lot of Christians even, trust me, I've been both. I've been the Christian who was, freaked out by the spiritual side of things, which is kind of crazy because Christianity is supposed to be spiritual, as the foundation. And so when you hear things like, somebody said they had a dream about the markets, that, and I would agree, to be honest with you, that there's a lot more of that I probably think doesn't come to pass than does. And there's a lot of reasons for that, I'm sure. So, however, we're in a season right now, corporately even, where there's a lot of things happening and there's a lot of things that are about to happen. And I just feel as though God is putting people into place in order to posture people to be able to take care of themselves, their families, their loved ones in the days ahead. So randomly enough, I will share this with you guys because it's just relevant. And I want to take this opportunity to go deeper with you. Adam, I am going to answer your question in just a minute. Why are my messages not loading here on Messenger? I got to pull up this picture here because I had a minister message me today, and this minister is actually prophetic, flows in the gift of the Spirit that is considered prophecy. And interestingly enough, they had a dream last night, and they asked me if I could help them interpret what they were seeing. And they know nothing about markets. They know nothing about markets. And they drew this on a piece of paper, and they said, this is what I dreamt last night. They said, I feel it's very interesting that God is showing me anything having to do with business, because I am just strictly a minister and I don't really operate in business at all. And I had a dream that the stock market flipped. And they said, I don't really understand it, but I just drew it out as best as I could. I saw that the red lines were now on the top, whereas the in their description, blue lines were on the bottom. And I don't know if it was because it was a blue pen or whatever, but either way, we get the point. And a chart doesn't operate necessarily that way. It operates where the lines go side by side, but it is very consistent when you understand that their dream signifies the stock market, what I believe to say that is getting ready to crash. And that's what's actually been prophesied. And it's going very well right now. And we do have a window of time. Now, remember, guys, this is not financial advice. This is either, you know it, this is either from God, from myself, or from the Chinese food that I had for dinner that night, right? You know the drill, guys. This is everything through the lens of my disclaimer. So we're talking about, dreams. We're talking about prophecies. We're talking about all sorts of different things. And I live like this, guys. This is my life. I follow this stuff, and it's not anything that you have to understand, I'm a firm believer in vomiting out, regurgitating anything that doesn't hold evidence, like proof. And so the reason I'm saying that is because I'm well aware that there are people in life who think that they're following signs, and it leads them into ditches over and over again. This is not my life. I'm not saying that I don't have losses. I'm not saying, because I don't get a dream about everything. I don't get a prophetic word about everything. And so, yes, we are navigating life with all of its ebbs and flows, just like any other human, right? However, there are these glimpses. There are these moments. There are these interventions that take place that are basically God-breathed, that can cause you to achieve in a very short period of time what it may take many, many other people a much larger segment of time to accomplish, or may never accomplish. And so I'm throwing this out there for this reason, because this person, by the way, who got this dream, as I mentioned, is just a person who flows in the prophetic. They know nothing about the markets. And my interpretation of this is that the red became dominant. The red became dominant in the stock market, meaning the red candles became dominant, and the stock market flipped. So please understand, this is what other prophets have been saying is coming. Remember the guy, Brendan Biggs, who prophesied President T getting a bullet going right by his head. Then he said he saw blood dripping down the side of his ear, and then he fell to his knees. This was prophesied in March. In March, guys. I believe the attempt on his life happened in June, I believe. Yeah, exactly. About 3 months later. And or thereabouts, if you're going to Google it, right? I'm not saying that. And so it was roughly around that period of time. And so you can't make this stuff up, guys. You cannot become that accurate in a prediction of that magnitude, of that accuracy, to like everything. And it was incredible. And he is one of the ones that has prophesied that the stock market is going to crash. So I'm saying that because this is kind of the ebbs and flows of how, we see things in this faith walk and in this faith journey, at least those who understand or at least allow the gifts of the Spirit to begin to flow in their lives or in the lives of those around them. Some people just eliminate people from their lives who flowed like that because they don't understand it. They might get freaked out by it, whatever the case may be. Pam says, Brandon, you and one other all mentioned XRP. That's why I bought some. Awesome. And that's the thing, guys, is you have to understand it's your decision at the end of the day. I'm not recommending that anybody do anything that they haven't fully weighed, right? I don't have a problem telling people that I hope everybody buy XRP because I believe in this dream. However, it has to be your decision, right? Okay. And I like this saying. Mike says XRP will flash crash before it shoots up. This is exactly right. Shannon says XRP is going to skyrocket. Don't sell early. I would agree. And so anyhow, you have to understand, guys. Here's the deal, guys, is that I told you this in yesterday's video. And when I said this in yesterday's video, I really mean what I say. When I was actually very diversified in certain cryptos, I had been holding some XRP before this dream. I had been holding some Shiba Inu. I had been holding some Dogecoin. I had been holding some, of this, some of that. I was well diversified. If it was a buzzword in the crypto space, I had something in it. And for good reason. I've been a firm believer in diversification. If you know anybody that has followed me from the beginning in the crypto space, you will hear them say that I was adamant about the strategy of diversification. And I've always said, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Always stay diversified, even if you're, diversified, even under the same umbrella. That's not diversification. Like if it's with the same company or, whatever, you've got to diversify. However, guys, when I had this dream, listen, I will do whatever God tells me to do. And I've already had this conversation with him. I have literally told him, as long as I know it's your voice, I'm going to do whatever it is that you tell me to do. And so when I got that dream, guys, I swapped everything to invest in XRP and to do what I was given the prophetic insight to do. And I said this in my video yesterday, and I said to everybody, I said, listen, we're about to see. And let me pull this up real quick because I want to bring this up. We're about to see what is called the altcoin season. So Bitcoin in its bull run, which is where Bitcoin rises every 4 years, we're in that sphere right now. And it's not just a expectation, and it's also not just a theory. And it's not even an expectation or a theory based upon no evidence. I actually did a video recently with a trader who is actually trading Bitcoin against altcoins, and he specifically showed the cup and handle pattern that Bitcoin had, and it had two. Even the handle was a descending widening wedge, which is another basically indicator that it is about to break out. So it was giving multiple indications that it was about to go into a bull run. That it was like a 90+% probability that, on both of these accounts. And so it was according to market analysis as well. And so now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing the Bitcoin bull run beginning to take root. Bitcoin broke through $81,000 today, guys. This is crazy. Its all-time high was like 73,000 and some change. And I don't even know what the difference would be. Let's do 81,000 minus 73,000. That's $8,000. That's 8,000 divided by 73,000. That's almost an 11%. That's 10.9%. It went 11% past above its all-time high. Okay. And that's what's beautiful about it. It's expected to go, according to market analysis, about 90% above its all-time high in the next bull run. It was supposed to go from about 69,000 where it was to about 130 some thousand. And so 10%, and normally that takes 3 to 4 weeks for that 90 some percent to happen. So it's only been started on the 5th, 5 days. Remember, election night was when this took place. And so it's only been 5 days and it's gone 11%. And so my point is it's well on its way. We're in the middle of the bull run right now. And what's crazy about this is, guys, I don't know how we can get it any clearer. I know. And that's my point. Kim Clement was a prophet that passed away years ago, guys. And he said on an interview, he said, the Lord showed me that X and something in the middle and then a P. He said X and then something in the middle and then a P. He said, the Lord showed me that this would be a good investment. That's what he said. X, something in the middle, and a P. And I mean, come on, guys. Like, anyway, so here's the deal. So what I was saying was yesterday in yesterday's video is like, I just have to be obedient to what God is showing me. It could be the best one of all the altcoins, or it could be just the one that God wanted me to do. And whatever he says, I'm down with, because obeying him is better than anything else in life, honestly, because if I choose to obey him, he will reward me even greater in the next thing. If, that's just how it works. Now watch this. So when Bitcoin rises, and I said this in yesterday's video, the amateurs are they're just gonna touch on what I hear or what I say. They're just gonna hear a little bit of what I say, and they're gonna be like, oh, I got to go buy some Bitcoin. If you want, But who wants to do that when you've got altcoins? You know what I mean? Like, and so because that's the whole point is when Bitcoin grows 5%, the altcoins normally follow at like a 10% profitability or sometimes even more. And so the altcoins have a greater spread. And so you want to purchase the ones that have a greater spread so that when you convert your dollar to X amount, that when Bitcoin goes up 90%, for example, your funds go up 300%, for example, right? Not guaranteeing anything. But what I'm saying is that's the whole concept. And that's kind of how the ratio works. And this is why. But at the same time, guys, there's a lot of things that are taking place right now. We have 110 viewers on right now. Some hungry people, man. Some people that are in the flow, in the time of the hour, wanting to know what's going on, wanting to know how they could potentially posture themselves and their family and potentially even their children for what's taking place right now. So, Adam, I'm going to come back to you. Don't forget, I didn't forget about you. However, we also have XRP or Ripple launching their stable coin. Guys, do you know that the Ripple stable coin is probably going to be the most powerful stable coin of them all? And it's only going to drive the price of XRP up when more people are using that network. And then, because it's so fast, it's lightning fast, and it's so inexpensive. When you pay Tron network, your Tron tokens to send USDT on the Tron network, it costs you Tron tokens. It went up recently. It used to be really cheap. Then it went up. Ethereum network, when you send USDT on the Ethereum network, you have to pay Ethereum to send that. It's called gas fees, and it's all expensive compared to what XRP charges, guys. You know that somebody showed a screenshot and they went and they sent, watch this. They sent $1.5 million worth of XRP on the Ripple network. And it cost them like a fraction of a penny or something of that nature. I can't remember what it was, but it was so cheap. And somebody was like, that's not accurate. That's not true. And I actually went to go do a send transaction on the XRP network. And I set it to a huge amount like that. And it showed you the gas fees of what it was going to cost. And sure enough, it was still in line with that really minimal amount. And so everybody's going to be using this, guys. And so there's just so many things at work right now with XRP at the same time. And you know, the all-time high of XRP before they went to court with the SEC was over $3 a coin, which means it was already, 5x at least. Yeah, 5x. It was already 5x of what it was, of what it is right now. So, all right, let me get to, before I do, let me go ahead and show you guys where we're at here, because I want to share with you. This is called the Bitcoin. I shared this yesterday. This is called the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, this is Trading View. And I just pulled up bit market cap BTC dominance percent. So this basically shows you the dominance of Bitcoin compared to the altcoins. And so as Bitcoin grows, this is where you saw this spike right here. Boom. Right? Huge spike right here of Bitcoin when it took off. And But then right here, it started on October. I'm sorry. It started on November the 7th. November the 7th. I don't know if the time zone, but when I looked this up earlier, it was on November the 7th is when it started, 2 days after the election. Bitcoin was already spiking, remember, but then it took a couple of days for the altcoins to begin to catch up. As you can see, right here, right there is where that huge red line down the middle there, where it began to drop. Why? Because altcoins, so when Bitcoin goes up in price, it becomes like Bitcoin dominant. Then the altcoins, when they begin to catch up, the Bitcoin loses its dominance. So even though Bitcoin is rising still, if the altcoins are rising with it, then it'll begin to balance itself out. We want the altcoins, we really want this to dip even more. And so now you can see it's actually starting, or actually it started to come back up right here. We had a big spike today, probably from Bitcoin hitting its all-time high. And now it's back down to where it looks like we've got a red candle. Very, as I'm enlarging this, you might be able to see it better. Little red candle, which means it's going to begin to start coming back down. That's what we want. We want it to drop because that means the altcoins are starting to catch up. Okay. So, and then when the altcoins begin to catch up, that's where we're making the dinero. All right. So this is actually a good comment. Shannon says, don't sell, Elizabeth. They already want to take XRP away from retail, which means they're going to stop selling to the public at some point. So I don't know necessarily about of whether that will actually happen or not. But what I want to say is this. I saw a guy that basically shared that there was a limited supply. He did a video where he showed there was a limited supply of XRP available to buy. And he says, think about what happens when there's no more of this, when the exchanges don't have enough, coins to fulfill or satisfy the orders, etc. And he was basically saying that that it's very, very important that people understand where we're at right now. So yeah, supply and demand. All right, let me get back to Adam's comment. If I can find it. Okay. I found the second one. He said, what's your price prediction in the next 12 months? He said, I own 100K XRP. First of all, let me point this out. Adam, be careful of the people that are going to try to inbox you now. Okay. I promise you, scammers, crypto scammers are the worst. And they actually target people in the comment section. I want you to hear me. So when people begin to inbox you and begin to try to ask you questions and then begin to do more digging, you're just giving up information. And then they begin to talk to you like as if they know something. And then they begin to get your password and your keys and all these different things. Right. Just, send. Oh, by the way, we have a program that specializes in XRP. Send 20 XRP here and you'll get 100 billion, right? All these different types of scams. They're all out there, guys. Be careful. Do not comment in the comment section on. He said it's all good. It's locked away. Thanks. Good. All right. So, all right, let me get back to the, so he said, what is your price prediction in the next 12 months? All right. He said, I own 100K of XRP and no idea if I should sell right now on this nice pump. LOL. Tempted to hold, and had targets around $3 to $5. Okay. This is where it's going to be a not for the faint of heart, guys. I'm going to have people that are going to actually, probably cough up their drink right now, when I say this, and that's okay. But there are ministers that have had prophetic insights that XRP will hit astronomical numbers, guys. Astronomical numbers. The reason I'm telling you this is because in my dream, I was told. Now, when I got my dream, originally he said in a week to a week and a half. And I originally interpreted that as meaning from now, in a week to a week and a half. But then when it didn't come to pass, remember, I didn't throw out the dream because I know better than that. I ask questions to try to figure out, and then I just continue to be reassured because I know when God is speaking to me. And this was definitely a dream from the Lord. So I had to begin to pry. God spoke in codes, guys. Even in the scriptures, Jesus spoke in codes. He spoke in parables. And he also said things that were misunderstood, right? They interpreted him incorrectly in the words that he said. They thought he was going to destroy the temple, or that he was threatening to destroy the temple, but he was referring to himself, that he was going to lay down his life, and in 3 days, all these different things. So there's a lot of code in the language of the Spirit. And so it's, the Bible says it's to the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it's the glory of kings to search out a matter. So there are times when God will conceal, and it's up to you to what did I just say? It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings to search out a matter. That's right. And so it'll be up to us to search it out. So we don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. We ask questions. We do some digging. They call it forensic prophecy in some cases, where you are literally, you don't just stop there. You go deeper. All right. So in my dream, when he said that in a week to a week and a half, it's going to take off, I thought he meant from now. So my original video release was a date timeline. However, in that video, I specified the concerns about giving timelines concerning the prophetic, because they teach you in many cases that it can be wrong. And I mentioned this last night. So then I had another minister said to me, have you considered that it meant a different week to a week and a half? And that's when I was like, well, how could it mean? And then I was like, oh, what if he actually was meaning not a time period from now, but a time period within itself? Whereas in a week to a week and a half, in a period of 7 to 10 days, that's when we will see the spike that he's referring to. And then I was like, oh man, that's actually pretty good. Because in my dream, he also said, you're going to have a nice Christmas, you and your family specifically. And so I'm like, okay. And I had announced in my release video that meant more than just Merry Christmas from God, right? Not that God isn't excited about our joy. That's the whole point. He even says, ask anything you wish in my name, and it shall be given to you, so that your joy will be made full. He is he's an amazing, amazing God. So that being said, so yeah, in my dream, when he said to me that it would take off, I actually, in my mind, I could see. Now, this is pretty interesting how this works, but I could see myself cashing out in stages. I've never done this before. I've either been a long-term holder or I've actually done some trading through the trading course that I have listed in this description section that you could take a look at. It's where I learned how to read the charts and everything. And so I've traded for short-term gains and I've done long-term holds. That's it. I've never done a huge, investment where I began to stage my cash outs. But that's what I saw in my dream that I did at the time when it began to do what he said it was going to do. So I knew my instruction personally. And so that is what I'm going to do. And so you got so many comments going on here. I hope it's this Christmas. Yeah, I definitely don't believe it's going to be next, for sure. Especially with what we're seeing. Because remember, XRP spiking on its own, like if something was to take place news-wise, that would be one thing. But what the other thing that would drive the price would be a Bitcoin bull run, which is exactly what we're in right now. Ta-da, right? That is what's happening right now. So I want to say it's a given. Nothing is guaranteed in markets, however, and that's what I'm throwing out the disclaimer for, because even though I firmly believe in this, I can't tell you that it would happen, even if it did happen this way and the dream was fulfilled, which I believe it will be. You can never count on the markets to do the same thing as they did the last time. That's why when they, people give financial advice, which I'm not doing, by the way, they will tell you, however, past results are not indicative of future earnings or success or patterns or whatever. And so I would definitely have to say the same thing to understand that there can always be the exception to the rule, so to speak. Awesome. All right. So that's what I wanted to share today, guys. I wanted to jump on here, have a conversation with you guys, talk to you about what's going on. Let's take a look and see where the price action is at. Dang. That's so amazing. Honestly, that is so freaking amazing. Apparently, right before we got on the call, it actually hit another all-time high. It's just crazy, man. This is just crazy. Look at this. This is Bitcoin, and this was today at 5. This was today at 1. This is where it hit 81,000 a day. And it hit its all-time high right here at 125 today. Okay, and it hit 81,100. Actually, right about where it's at right now. See, 81,122. But then at 5:20 today, it actually hit 81,500. Then at 9 p.m. tonight, I'm sorry, 8:50, 9 p.m., it hit 81,788. Okay? Guys, this is just crazy what is happening right now. This is the Bitcoin bull run. If you are not aware, we're in it. We are in it. And what's crazy, guys, is that this is, we could speculate a whole number of things that would have driven the traffic or the price up of XRP. This would be the number one thing that most, in the market would presume would be the driving force. Anyway, here we are. It's very exciting. Definitely. And, it's either going to be a huge letdown or a huge win for those who got involved in XRP. Because remember, there's a lot of other coins out there. And who knows which one of them is going to do the best, because they're all altcoins. And during the bull run, Bitcoin is the Mac Daddy that drives the market, and then the others follow. And remember the altcoins. And so, but my point is that God knows, and I've told you this all throughout this whole broadcast and the broadcast before, that I trust in the way that he's leading me. The grand finale of all this obviously would be that we come out the tail end of this thing and we look back and we're like, OMG, he busted a move, right? Like, I know that it's going to be incredible, because the Bible says he will do exceedingly and abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. He is willing to do exceedingly and abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. So that's why I'm on his gravy train, right? Check this out. We are here, man. We are in the all-time high of Bitcoin right now. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. XRP is at 59 cents. I expect it to go way higher. It actually did just drop down below. Let me pull this up real quick. It actually did drop down below that resistance line. Remember, we were talking about that earlier. And this resistance line that I made of 59.43, it's actually at 59.13. 59, it's toggling right now, but and so it's working that line, and it keeps busting through. But they say that the more times that it busts through, the more times, or the better the probability of it breaking through. See, now it's starting. Oh, it's a green candle. See it forming green. We got a second green candle now forming. Come on. Now it's going to go back up. And when it breaks through, that's when you begin to see it start to soar. So that's how this stuff works, guys. All right. Very simple, generic, crypto basic training. All right. Guys, listen, at the end of the day, I'm excited. There's an interesting debate in the way people view religion. Some people believe that you shouldn't be involved in politics. Some people believe you shouldn't talk about money. Some people believe all sorts of crazy things. And I think it couldn't be farther from the truth. Because if you live anywhere in the world, you will notice that we had a huge major event happen on November the 5th. Huge event. And it's a huge demonstration as to why. Now, some people may not agree with this, because if there's, people on certain sides of the fence, you could automatically throw this out right out the rip. However, we saw a move of God on the 5th. It was incredible. Like some people who didn't see what was going on clearly, they're still scratching their heads wondering what happened. But the reality is that there was a move that took place, and it's a power of righteousness that is beginning to sweep the land. If you guys have seen the things concerning RFK Jr., all these different people that, President T is putting on his team. They're getting ready to expose and uncover so much corruption. It's pitiful. I mean, absolutely, it's going to be alarming. And all of these things were prophesied. And so, yeah, he says, if XRP drops and you wish to buy more, they always say, buy the dip, guys, buy the dip. I mean, seriously, it's a given. It's a given. And, however, if you're, it's according to your risk capital as well. Some people may already be maxed out, and, but, anyhow, so I'm addressing this issue where some people believe that, ministers even especially shouldn't be involved in finance, shouldn't be involved in the problem. That's the problem with the world today, guys, is that, nobody's out there equipping people. You got people who have no problem going. They won't stone you. They won't stone you if you go to work at McDonald's, for, I don't know, $10 an hour or whatever they're paying nowadays for minimum wage. I don't even know, probably 15. They won't stone you if you're doing that. They'll be okay if you're doing that. But God forbid you talk about thriving in life and stewarding your time. Scripture is all about stewardship and stewarding your time. So, in fact, it was a part of the original curse where God basically said that you will toil and strive and by the sweat of your brow in order to survive. That was part of the original curse. And, Scripture says in Christ, the curse has been broken. It doesn't mean that hard work is not part of life. It's just that balance is way more important. And the ability to leverage more by doing less is where it's at. It's stewardship. Because if you can garner more funds, and then you're living the rest of your life serving people and providing for people and all these different things, that's the whole concept. That's the whole concept of why we do what we do. Same with politics. If people of faith stay out of politics, guys, then the politicians will eliminate people of faith, or at least your freedoms, your rights, because they don't want you to be able to have the constitutional rights that we carry if they don't agree. And so they will try to do whatever they can to drive it out of the system and to create a world that they want without you in it. And that's why it's absolutely of the utmost importance that people of faith get involved in politics. We need to be imparting to people the belief system of why it's important to be involved in politics. And I'm not just talking about being a social media talking head or a conspiracy theorist, which I have no problem with right now. But my point is that we need to be talking about these things, and we need to be imparting and raising up people, not just critics, but doers. I once heard a minister say the following. He said, when have you ever seen a movie critic produce a movie? In other words, critics criticize. They don't produce. Which do you want to be? Do you want to be the mover and the shaker, the producer, or do you want to be the sideline, popcorn eating finger pointer, right? One has a legacy attached to it in the end. one has an impact in life. And it's not the critic that wins those awards. It's the mover and the shaker. So get involved in all of the above. And don't let the negative Nancys or the Karens of the church even try to talk you out through their demonic manipulations of imparting to others the idea of financial freedom. It was always a sign of God's blessing upon his people in the scriptures of when he marked them with significant blessing. Guys, that's all I'm going to say today. I appreciate you being on. Once again, I had a dream last night that XRP tanked. I knew it was going to happen today, and I showed you on the charts how it dropped 10% today in 2 hours. Just like my dream said. And I'm just, the only reason I'm saying this to you is because as for those of you guys who are tracking the accuracy of these dreams, I have told you in the past, so far it's been 100% accuracy. And I will never say that I cannot miss it or, can't get it wrong or any of those things, because I would never say that. That would be completely foolish. However, for the sake of accountability with my audience, I'm just sharing with you what took place. And I had that dream last night, and I knew I was going to see it today in the charts. Sure enough, it went boom. However, it recovered, and it's almost back up to where it was. Very, very close. It looks like it's about 70% recovered, which is great. And that's part of it, guys. We're going to see the volatility, the ups and downs through this bull run. That's what you're going to see. In fact, let me pull this up for you real quick before I go, just so that you could see what I'm saying on Bitcoin, for example. Because remember, that's the Mac Daddy. So here we have, right now, there it is, the ups and downs. So as Bitcoin is creating new all-time highs, basically every few hours, as we can see, right? This was an all-time high. This was an all-time high. This was an all-time high. Look at that. 3 separate all-time highs in the past, 9 hours. That's like an all-time high every 3 hours. This is ridiculous. That's the bull run, guys. But look at this. Look at how it dipped so significantly right here. And that's actually would be consistent with what I saw in my dream too, because that was when the XRP followed that same pattern. And actually, let's measure that just for the sake of, because remember, let's see. See the difference? Look at this. I want to share this to you. Hang on. It's actually, this is pretty profound, because I was just describing this to you, and I love confirmation. I'm getting the accurate reading here. Boom. And then right there, 78,436. Why is this not moving? Right there. And then, oh, it's lagging. Come on, dude. I'm trying to find where that candle's at. Oh, this thing's being funky right now. Hang on. Well, regardless, okay, you could see it was, look at that, 3.33%. 3.33%. And remember, we say that the altcoins have a larger spread. So when this dropped 3.33%, XRP dropped 9.9%, almost 10%. Or maybe it was almost 11%. I can't remember. But my point is it was 3 times as much. And that's what I was describing earlier. The volatility will have the same on the dips and on the ups and the downs. It's just that the spread will be larger. And so when Bitcoin goes up 90% like it's projected, right? And it's already gone up 11. When it goes up 90%, that means the altcoins theoretically are going to go up, guess what? 3 times as much, 300% roughly, right? This is what I'm talking about. And this is where it's about to get crazy, guys. So keep this in mind. That was, I guess, in a 2-hour period. Yep, same timeline. Remember? So that's that same pattern right there that we saw on the XRP charts. All right. Hope that makes sense. And that's it. Jacob says, looks like it's going to be a good Christmas. That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, guys. Appreciate you being on. Hopefully we all track together, because here's the deal. At the end of this XRP run, guess what? There's a lot more coming down the pike, and it's going to be, we're going to continue to be able to trek this thing together. So when we hit it big on the XRP, which I believe we're going to, there's going to be more things that follow after this. So let's do it. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. God bless.